Hi everybody, it's John back with another model inbox review. This time we're looking at an aircraft which I think has been a little bit neglected in terms of model companies releasing new tools of it recently. Um, this is of course the British Aerospace, originally BAC Sepicat Jaguar. This version is actually a GR Mark 1. I think it might even be a Mark 1A. And I've always liked the Jaguar. I've always thought it was quite a sexy looking warplane. It was actually a very effective bombing platform, and it served the RAF throughout the 1970s, 80s, and into most of the 1990s. And it wasn't truly replaced until probably the appearance of the GR Mark 4 Tornado when the Eurofighter was being introduced, because the Tornado actually took up most of the Jaguar's operational roles, and it was also supplemented throughout its entire career with the RAF by the varying developments of the Hawker Siddeley Harrier and the McDonnell Douglas BAE Harrier too. It was an extremely effective bombing platform, and it even operated right up till probably the second Gulf War as well. Um, Very effective aircraft. Anyway, which kit are we doing of the Jaguar? Well, let's reveal the kit itself, because we're actually doing this one. This is the Matchbox BAC Sepicat Jaguar, originally released in 1974, and this is a Type 1 box. Um, it's also serial numbered PK102. So this will actually be the second kit that I'll be starting to build. The first one being the Corsair 2, which is already underway at the moment. But this is the second kit in the orange range from Matchbox's range of aircraft. And unfortunately, it's not loved very much by the pro builders and the IPMS members. It has some serious inaccuracy issues around the nose cone and air intakes, and some other parts of the airframe as well. It suffered from the fact that it was designed and tooled before the Jaguar actually was turned into its final form as the GR Mark 1. And so a lot of the kit was tooled off measurements and photographs taken of the mock-ups and the pre-production prototypes that were on show in Farnborough and places like that. Anyway, 1974, the Matchbox GR Mark 1 BAC Sepicat Jaguar. Just an interesting thing, the early release of the Jaguar actually had a different a different option for the different versions that you could build from the kit, and the paint plan on the back. I'll just show you a quick picture of the paint plan. Let's just blow this up a little bit so you can see it. Basically, the paint plan offered the aircraft both versions in light grey underside. I think the aircraft are actually the same aeroplanes that featured in the second generation, which is the model I've got a boxing of. But the two kits were actually light grey underneath, both for 54 Squadron and 6 Squadron Jaguars. And I just wanted to show you that on the paint plan, that it differed from the second boxing. The sprue colours in the original boxing, sorry about that, I've got a bit of a frog in my throat, were actually these three colours. You had a light grey centre sprue there with some of the missiles on it, the jet pipes, and you had a sort of a mahogany golden brown, almost ginger colour for the wings, and a standard brown colour, almost like a dark earth, for the fuselage halves and other parts of the kit there. And that's the 1974 release explained. Then in 1982 we have the boxing of the kit that I've actually got a boxing of. This is the BAC Jaguar GR Mark 1. This kit was released in 1982 in this boxing. I believe this is a Type 4 box, heavily influenced by Revell, of course, with these German national colours from their flag and the rethought Matchbox logo here. And they were heavily influenced for the advertising and marketing by Revell, who eventually bought the company up around about 10, 12 years after they originally took over the marketing rights for Matchbox. and now Matchbox's sprues are all completely owned by Revell. There's also another interesting inaccuracy that you can see here. There's one aerial here just behind the rear cockpit, and I've never seen a Jaguar that doesn't have two aerials here, and quite a large moulding behind the cockpit canopy that these two aerials protrude from. Um, it's a very interesting mistake that Matchbox have done, and I've never understood why they didn't retool this kit before the second generation was released. There is another issue with this model. You can see just here, I don't know if you can see, can I just blow this up a little bit for you so you can see it? Can you see on the artwork you've got a splitter plate just in front there of the air intake? I've never seen a Jaguar with a splitter plate protruding from the air intake. It should be flush and form a complete square air intake. And in actual fact, when you go into the instructions on how to build this kit, Matchbox tell you to do exactly that. Cut the splitter plate down and make it flush with the air intake. Anyway, that's a 1982 release. This is the kit that I've got a boxing of to inbox of you. A couple of things with this. The sprue colours on this particular model it is a three colour kit. You've got a sort of a medium sage green, a light grey, which is apparent in my boxing, and a dark green for the fuselage half. But for some reason my boxing only seems to have two colours. The two green sprues are actually the same as this colour. This coloured sprue is, in my kit, is the same colour as that one. So I've only got a two colour kit. Perhaps I've got a kit which was mixed up with another one, and they put the wrong sprue from the wrong kit in both boxes. I don't know, but it should be these three colours, but I've only got two. Anyway, before we go on to the next variants, which were retooled, there is a rare release of the 1982 boxing, the Type 4 boxing, where you get completely different coloured sprues. They're still three colour, but they're three different shades of brown. I've never seen these sprues physically in a model kit, but I have seen plenty of photos online, and the kit's probably quite rare to get it in this colour sprue. So if you've got this colour sprue in your boxing, don't build it, because I think it will appreciate in value eventually, and probably quite rapidly, more so than the other ones did. And another interesting point that I want to make is the fact that the GR Mark 1 single seat variant of the Matchbox Jaguar was retooled in 1986, and the single seat is much rarer and harder to acquire than the two seat one, and therefore it tends to fetch about an extra £10. So yeah, that's interesting as well. The kit was then re-released in 1986 in this form, and the tool was actually retooled to turn the GR Mark 1 into a T Mark 2. The kit actually has options in this boxing for two different two-seaters, the Empire Test Pilot School variant, which is based at Boscombe Down, and there's also a wrap-round camouflage version of the two-seat T Mark 2 to act as an RAF conversional trainer. And we'll just go into the sprue colours for this. When you get the sprues out of the box for this particular variant, and it's interesting to show you because this is actually the next boxing of the T2, but these colours, the green, the grey and the white sprue here for the fuselage sprue, were all apparent on the 86, the 86 early and the 86 late. There are two different boxings, and the way you tell a late variant boxing is by two symbols. The early box had this recycling mark on the front of the box here. It's like a round green and white recycling stamp, if you like, that shows you that the box was actually made out of recycled cardboard. But again, these colours are apparent on every Empire Test Pilot School version of the T Mark II released by Matchbox. The second 1991 late release, this is the 91, the last variant that was released, Um, this was a boxing which had, and I'll blow this up slightly so you can see it. It had an 8+ mark on the very right hand top corner. It's exactly the same kit inside. The box art is exactly the same. Every aspect of the kit is identical, but the markings on the box show you that this is a late 1991 release. Interesting there. That's the same one. And then in 1998 you had a total new style of boxing. This is actually when the company was owned by Revell, but they still had some sprues left over which were marked Lindsay Productions Limited, made in England, before Revell actually chop-shopped all the tools that Matchbox was sent over to them. And if you like, they retooled the tools to make the Made in England and Lindsay products disappear. I'll show you the Lindsay product IDs on the sprues in a minute. But the other issue with this particular kit, and you can tell that this is actually a complete Revell reboxing. You've got the recycling mode here, and you've got these new strands with yellow, black and red flashes on them, and these are German national flag markings, as you can see. But this kit was released in I don't know what's going on here. This kit was released in single colours. You had the 1982 T2 colours, which were all grey. It was a slightly silver grey as well, but it was predominantly grey. The advantage you get with this particular kit is that if you want to build an RAF conversional trainer, you get much better decals on this particular version of the Matchbox tool. But again, the Matchbox tooling of the T Mark II suffers from the same issues that the GR Mark I tooling did. The canopy, it's not the fit, the fit's fine, but the canopy itself and the whole of the front end of the aircraft is it's not very accurate at all. But we'll go into that when we get to having a look at the sprues. There's a nice view here of a GR Mark III. A GR Mark III in flight. I think it's probably just took off. No, as I said before, I've always liked the Jaguar. The GR Mark IIIs tended to be all over wrap-round grey, but some of the early variants had actually wrap-round green and grey camouflage. And we'll just spin the camera down now so we can have a look at this quite rare commodity. Yep, this is the Matchbox Jaguar GR Mark I. Second release, this was 1982. The box has seen better days. Just have a look at the side. That shows you what the kit looks like when it's made up without getting painted. 3 colours, written in several languages here. The sides, you've got PK102, which is the second kit in the orange range. And on the back, differing from the original artwork, if you like, lithogram or paint plan you've got on the back, this kit comes with a light grey underside version which was serving in 54 Squadron, Royal Air Force, and the one underneath is a wrap-round camouflage variant serving number 6 Squadron. I think number 6 Squadron may have been based in Germany, and this one may have been based in RAF, in the UK. But you can definitely see you've got a light grey underside there, and this one's wrap-round camouflage, which is how the aircraft was for the majority of its career. So what we'll do, we'll have a quick look at the kit inside. We'll do this in-box review in exactly the same way that I do with most of my in-box reviews. And we'll get all the parts out. Let's just pop that down there very quickly. There we go. And we'll have a quick look at the instruction leaflet first. Put those down there. The instruction leaflet is about A5. It's the second generation kit. The first generation kit, this instruction leaflet would have been orange, but when they re-released the kits in later variants and later boxings, they tended to be just white instruction leaflets. There's some information there on the aircraft and stats, measurements, And then you've got assembly, montage, and various different languages there. That's quite nice. PK102, 1/72 scale on the Matchbox logo. Straightforward. And we open the leaflet up, and as you open the leaflet, on the right hand side you've got the paint callouts. I think these are, I don't know what actual colour codes they are. I don't recognise them. I've no idea what colour codes they are, but they do actually label each colour A, and then you've got a dark green for A, and whichever company's paint codes they've got there. There's also instructions on how to apply the decals. I don't do them like this, I tend to use a brush. And then you've got Matchbox's complaint slip, what we used to call a flash form. Don't ask me why it was called a flash form. Lots of companies called it a flash form, but it was to write in and ask them for replacement parts. You've got quite a number of pictorial images here of what you should do during the kit's construction. I wouldn't actually do all of these. I would do most of them, but I wouldn't do all of them. But it's interesting that even back in the early 80s they were doing, oh God, even back in the 1960s they were doing this. Frog started doing this originally. And then you've got a list here of the PK orange range from 101 to 110. So you can see that the next kit I'll be building from the orange range will be the Bowfighter, which is going to be interesting. Anyway, the construction flow is quite easy. You've got a teach your granny how to suck egg instruction leaflets there telling you to glue, not glue, optional parts and weight required. And there will be a little tiny bit of weight required in this, but it will probably fit in the nose cone, which you'll see in a minute. Section 1, you've got the pilot and pilot seat, very simple there. Section 2, you put the fuselage halves together, and there is an instruction here to do, which is to cut down this splitter plate on the front of the inner sections of the air intake to make it squared off. I don't know why they tooled it like this, I really don't understand it, but every single Matchbox kit you have to do this on the splitter plate because it's totally incorrect. Then you put the air intakes into place, the underside of the engine bay and the jet nozzles, very easy. Section 3 there, you put in the airframe together, cockpit canopy, the nose cone. There's a sub-assembly section there for the nose cone. This is probably where I'll put the majority of my weight to keep the aircraft on its nose wheel. Then in section 4 and 5 you just basically put in the undercarriage oleos together and the wheels, front wheel oleo there and the main gear. And then in the last section you put in the armament loadouts and final fittings. The Jaguar did have an arrestor hook because the French actually used it as a carrier-borne strike fighter. As well as a land-based Ami-de-l'Air aircraft, and that feature was fitted on the RAF variants, but they never used the arrestor hook. It was never used as a carrier-borne or even a naval aircraft. The Navy never used it. And then right on the end of here you've got the purple range of kits, including the armour, and then the orange range at the bottom here, showing you the different models that they have in their range, which is, I think, a nice thing. Airfix started to do that for a while themselves, but Matchbox always did that. They always did that with all their models. They put the list of the other kits that you could get. Now then, there's one thing I want to say about the decal sheet with all Matchbox decal sheets. This one comes with a dust cover, which is nice. We'll take the dust cover off so you can see the instructions better. Now this is a 1982 release, so this decal sheet is actually 42 years old, and it's sort of weathered quite well, hasn't it? I always find this with Matchbox decals. I don't know why. Perhaps there was a lot less acid in the paper, but the backing film on Matchbox decals tended to stay clearer for a lot longer. And I've very rarely had issues with Matchbox decals. The decals themselves, no, they're not cartograph. They're quite, they're they're not raised terribly, but they're quite rough. The way they feel, they don't feel smooth and silky like a lot of good quality decals do. But the backing film is pretty transparent. The register on them is usually pretty good as well. Not a lot of decals on there, but you know, in the early 80s you didn't really get a lot of decals, so I think I'll be satisfied with those. That'll be alright. And then we've got the cockpit canopy, if I can find it. It's here somewhere. There it is. A lot of people say that the transparency in a kit denotes its quality. I'm not 100% certain that that's true, but this canopy doesn't look too bad. Let's just have a look at it here. You can see it there, coming nicely into focus. It's nicely framed. It's relatively clear. It's not 100% clear, but it's okay. And I don't think there's a fit issue with the canopy because the whole bloody nose cone and the canopy is inaccurate. But I think that'll be all right. It should go on okay. We'll have a look at the weapons, what I call the weapons sprue first, which carries most of the oleos and wheels as well for the undercarriage and the jet pipes. There's not a lot to write home because most Matchbox models don't have highly detailed parts, but I'd love somebody to tell me what type of missiles those are, because I've never seen anything like it on an RAF aircraft. I wondered whether they might have been Martels, but they are actually totally the wrong shape. So yeah, that's interesting. Jet pipes, again, not much to write home about there. They're not terribly ribbed on the outside. They look alright, but they're not brilliant, are they? Yeah, not fantastic. You've got a rocket pod front here, which looks like a Zuni missile pod front, but it's actually not. It belongs to something else, which attaches to the front of these parts here. And again, this is another weapon that I've never seen the RAF ever use or adopt, or you know, but it's obviously a free unguided missile pack for ground attack. The undercarriage wheels, they're quite detailed actually. They've got some nice features on them. Not sure about the nose wheel. It's not too bad. The undercarriage legs are quite defined. Yeah, the parts, like most Matchbox kits, the parts are pretty crisp. There's not a lot of flash going on here and there. No issues really with, you know, cleanup. The parts should come off the sprues quite easily. There shouldn't be any problems. The grey sprue, which houses the tail planes and the wings, and also this guy, this is what I call the Matchbox Fast Jet Pilot. He has an oxygen mask that goes over his face, but he's basically similar in every way, shape or form to the Warbirds, propeller-driven Second World War fighters, apart from his oxygen mask. This is no different whatsoever. And he also has a helmet on, of course. It's quite well defined and detailed, isn't he? Unlike the seat, which, yeah, doesn't even look like an ejection seat, does it? Never mind. Tailplanes there, and the wings, they've got raised lines, which is a shame. Actually, that's got engraved panel lines on the tailplane. Yeah, that's different. You've got engraved panel lines for the flaps on the back of that wing part there. Quite nice. I'm going to try and find it now. There it is. You've got Sprue B written on this, and you can just see Lindsay Productions 1973 PK102. This kit was tooled in 1973, as I said before the Jaguar entered service, and probably at the same time as the prototypes were flying. The green sprue, which is the fuselage sprue, you've got some quite nicely defined parts for the air intakes, although they are the wrong shape. And these are these dreaded splitter plates. Look at them. That section where it expands larger than the rest of the part, that's all got to be cut off, and there's no lines showing you where it's got to be cut off. There's also a couple of massive sinkholes on the part you have to actually glue to the airframe, so they'll have to be rubbed down. That's cheers, Matchbox, wonderful. The nose cone, engine plate there. The aircraft was powered by two Rolls-Royce Turbomeca door. I think they were 102 turbofans, which is the same engine as what goes into the Hawk, but the Hawk obviously isn't afterburned. The Jaguar was. Another thing about the Jaguar a lot of people didn't know was that the aircraft was actually quite unsafe to perform a takeoff when fully loaded on only one engine, and you had to have afterburner because the engines were a little bit underpowered when the aircraft weighed about 28 ton. And yeah, but that's the way it is. You've got some nice line features on the fuselage halves here. Little faint lines, but the aircraft isn't heavily detailed, but you've got some lines on that radar warning receiver pack on the tail fin. Another interesting issue with the Matchbox T Mark II is that radar warning receiver is actually still on the fin, and on the trainer variant it was never fitted. It was never fitted to a T Mark II Jaguar. So yeah, interior, typical Matchbox interior. Not a lot in there, is there? In actual fact, there's nothing at all. So yeah, thanks again, Matchbox. And also you've got a gaping big hole at the back of the cockpit there, which most modelers, if they want to fill that up with a bulkhead, they would do. I don't know if I'll bother. But yeah, that's the plastic on the kit. Nothing to write home about really. It's not, it's okay, but it's not fantastic, is it? But there we go. Right, I'll just put everything back in here and then we'll read off the guns so we can close this video down. I didn't think it would take very long because this kit isn't particularly complicated or highly detailed or anything like that. It's quite a crude, quite a simple model, like a lot of Matchbox kits are. But the thing about Matchbox that I like, apart from the fact that I grew up with them when I was a kid, is the fact that they're well engineered and they always go together really easily and well. Anyway, that's let's just put that on there so you can have a look and see what the kit looks like when I read this off. A little bit to go through when I read this off, but it's mainly in the options and costs. The kit we're doing a review on today is the Matchbox BAC Jaguar GR Mark 1. Its serial number is PK102, original release date 1974, but the boxing I have is 1982. It's released in 1/72 scale and there are decals for two options. The first is a BAC Jaguar GR Mark 1 of 54 Squadron, Royal Air Force, and the second is a BAC Jaguar GR Mark 1 of number 6 Squadron, Royal Air Force. Now there are 8 parts on a grey plastic sprue, 43 parts on 2 green plastic sprues and 1 clear part, making 52 parts in total. The dimensions of the kit is actually quite high. It is 8 inches in length, it has a 5-inch wingspan, and the kit should sit around about 3 inches high on its undercarriage because the undercarriage oleos are actually quite long. Options and costs. Now, there are a number of standalone kits and there are also a number of reboxes, but the standalone kits are quite interesting and I'm going to try and point out the ones that are good and the ones that are terrible. Airfix did a standalone BAC Jaguar prototype. This is the aircraft kit where it didn't have a laser rangefinder, just had a solid nose cone. That kit retails for anything from £5 to £15, but I have seen it actually sell for 32 quid. The Airfix kit isn't terrible. It's a bit long in the tooth, but it's not terrible. It's certainly not the worst Jaguar on the market. Airfix also did a BAC Sapecat Jaguar GR Mark 1, which is a more common kit to get a hold of. But that kit retails for anything between 6 and 30 quid. Yes, and I've seen it sell for 30 quid quite often. The BAC Sapecat Jaguar GR Mark 1 gift set, which was a special edition released twice by Airfix, this kit is usually available on the second-hand market for about 10 to, I would say, 30 quid. Airfix also did a Sapecat Jaguar GR Mark III, and you can tell this model because it's all over grey camouflage scheme with missiles on the top of the wings. And this kit retails for anything between 10 and 30 quid as well. Now, Airfix did a Desert Storm combination set, a gift set if you like. This comprised a Buccaneer and a Jaguar. These kits retail for between £20 and £28. They're actually quite a good buy because the Buccaneer, this the second generation Buccaneer, which I did an inbox review on and a build project videos on. And if you want to look through that, the kit actually isn't that bad. It's quite an easy kit to build as well. But it also comprises the GR Mark 1 variant of the Jaguar. And that kit, as I said before, retails for about 20 to 28 quid. But they also did an RAF firepower set comprising of a Tornado GR Mark 4, a Harrier GR Mark 7, and a Jaguar GR Mark 1. And this kit is actually quite collectible, and it never retails for less than 50 quid, and it always sells for at least 50 quid. But some have sold for as much as 65. When you think there's two Series 3 kits in that box and a Series 4 kit in that box, even 50 quid isn't bad. It's not a bad price. There's a company called Ariex Pro Model who produced a Jaguar A and E. These were predominantly the French variants. I've got no pricings available on those, and I have no idea what they're like quality wise or how they fit together. Frog did a Sapecat Jaguar A2 and a T2 prototype. You can build either or from the same box. These retail for between £14 and £15, but they're not that good. Hasegawa did a Jaguar A GR Mark 1 and a GR Mark 1A in the same box. You know, you can build any of those three from the same box. Retails for about £15 to £18. I have seen it go for about 25, but it's usually between £15 and £18. They're a nice kit, very nice, attractive kit. No fit issues with it. It's a really good kit. Hasegawa also build an E and a T Mark II trainer variants, and they also do a special version called the Mark II Dero, which is the Empire Test Pilot Schools kit. That retails for about £17 to £18, but the Empire Test Pilot red, white and blue variant is quite a rare kit to acquire, and it usually goes for about 35 quid. Hella also did a Jaguar A and E, the French variants. These go for about £20, and they also did a Jaguar A, B and D. These were the two-seat trainer variants, how the French called them, and these go for between £20 and £25. Hobby Boss also built a Jaguar A for about 25 to 30 quid, and they also built a Jaguar E for about 25 to 30 quid. Now both the Hella and the Hobby Boss kits are pretty much of a muchness between them. The Hobby Boss kit tends to be slightly less detailed, and the Hella kit, because it's an older tooling, is slightly less accurate. Idea did a Sapecat Jaguar E and T Mark II. Don't know what the prices are like, and I have no idea what the kits are like. And they also do a Jaguar GR Mark 1 and 1A. Again, same info, got no prices, and I don't know what they're like. Italeri do a Sapecat Jaguar A, GR Mark 1 and GR Mark 3. This kit is probably the better of most of them. It's probably the best 72nd scale Jaguar on the market, and it retails for about 20 to 30 quid. Kitech do a Sapecat Jaguar GR Mark 1 and 1A. No prices available on that, and I've heard it's pretty terrible. And the releases from Matchbox, the BAC Jaguar GR Mark 1 is between 15 and 30 quid, and the BAE Jaguar T Mark II is between 10 and 25 quid. As I said before, the T Mark II is a lot easier to get hold of. There are a lot more sold, and after the second release of the GR Mark 1 they dotted the tool, so that was it, you couldn't get any more. Reboxed models, these original standalone kits have been reboxed by several other companies. There's a company called AGA who build what's called a Jaguar. This is basically a reboxed Frog kit, no prices available, and as the Frog kit is, it's probably pretty bad. Hella Humbrol do a Sapecat Jaguar A, B and E reboxed Hella kit. This is the T Mark II variant, two-seater. That goes for about £25. Hobbycraft do a Jaguar E and a T Mark II, which is a reboxed Idea kit. No available prices, and I've got no idea what it's like. They also do a Jaguar GR Mark 1 and 1A, which is again a reboxed Idea kit. No prices available for that. Humbrol do a Sapecat Jaguar A, B and E two-seater, which is a reboxed Hella kit for about 25 quid. And MPC build a Sapecat Jaguar GR Mark 1, which is the reboxed Airfix kit, and that retails for between £10 and £20. Mackie, or Maquette, whichever you prefer to call it, they do a Jaguar GR Mark 1 and T Mark 2, which is the reboxed Frog kit, about £10 to £20 for that. Marks and Spencer do a Jaguar GR Mark 1A, which is a reboxed Italeri kit, £25 to £35, a little bit more collectible, that one. Model X do a Sapecat Jaguar A, B and E two-seat trainer version of the Jaguar, reboxed Hella kit there, no prices available on that. And there's a company called NFZ Naro Forminsk Plastic Company who do a Sapecat Jaguar A2 and T2, which is a reboxed Frog kit. Again, no prices available on that. Novo, of course, reboxed the Frog kit as the Sapecat Jaguar GR Mark 1 and T Mark 2, 10 to 25 quid for that one. And Revell produced the Sapecat Jaguar GR Mark 1A, which is actually the reboxed Italeri kit, £6 to £15. If you want to buy the Italeri kit, try and hold out for a Revell boxing of it, because I've seen it commonly go for less than a tenner, and it's a good buy. Tamiya do a Jaguar GR Mark 1, which is the reboxed Italeri kit, 25 quid for that. It never seems to go for less or more. And ZTS Plastic do a Sapecat Jaguar GR Mark 1 and T Mark 2, which is the reboxed Frog kit for 10 to 20 quid. Conclusions. Right. This kit, like all Matchbox kits, is simple, it's well engineered, but it is crude and there are inaccuracies on its nose section and cockpit. It also has a very limited weapons loadout. The splitter plates are incorrect, and I have no idea why they even tooled this like this. The instructions even tell you that you have to cut them back to the level of the air intakes. The IPMS and Pro model builders are not great fans of this kit, with the Italeri and Hasegawa kits getting their thumbs up, but the Airfix kit is not a bad option either, and they're all reasonably priced and cheap to acquire. This kit will probably be the latest entrant into my kits to avoid like the plague playlist on my channel, but I will try and give it as good a go as I can. I hope this video has been of some use. It'll be interesting to build this one because I've never seen the Matchbox one built up. I've always fancied having a go at it. So yeah, we'll see how it goes. Anyway, I hope your modelling projects are all running fantastic and you're having fun. That's what it's all about. I hope your future projects that you get, I hope they go good as well. Anyway, thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you for the next video. Bye bye.